drift in space with zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds. If you find this recording, don't feel bad about
Is
this.
this an old message?
Oxygen will run out tomorrow morning. Part of the journey is the end. That'll be it.
Some people move on, but not us. Not us.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. Now that we've gotten some Avengers Endgame trailers, it's time to talk about post-credit scene theories. They're foreshadowing a lot of character arcs coming to a close in all the footage that we've seen so far. So you have people like Captain America that just look so tired. All they want to do is just bring everyone back. They're so pissed off about all the people they lost. So just a reminder that there are several different types of post-credit scenes and mid-credit scenes that Marvel works into their videos. There are ones that pay off big jokes that they set up during the film, like just funny haha moments with the characters from the movie, like that second Stan Lee cameo with the Watchers in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Like he'd already appeared, it was just like a funny tag as he continued telling them about all his adventures in the other Marvel post-credit scenes. Then they have the teasers for big things that are coming down the road, like winking at Thanos at the end of the very first Avengers film. Usually those wind up being specific to each franchise, so because we're talking about a big Avengers movie, it would tease what's happening in future Avengers movies with a villain or some big concept, like the idea that we're going to have proliferation of people with biological powers. We're still doing that Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite post-credit scene on the video. So we'll do this top 10 style. Currently, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the record holder with most number of post-credits and mid-credit scenes. It has 5, so we'll see if Avengers Endgame beats that. But starting with number 10, the obvious original Avengers shawarma moment. The ones that are still alive at the end of the film have another shawarma-style moment. Just a funny way to take the edge off of any potential big Avenger deaths, because I do expect at least one A-list Avenger to seemingly die, although, you know, it's a comic book movie, so you always kind of wonder how much that's going to stick. The twist being, though, that instead of just repeating the original shawarma moment, what they do is they pay off the joke that they set up during Infinity War with everybody on the Avengers having a flavor of Ben & Jerry's named after them. They all just eat each other's flavor of Ben & Jerry's.
And I swore off dairy, but then Ben & Jerry's named a flavor after me, so...
Stark raving hazelnuts.
Not bad.
A bit chalky.
A hunk of Hulk burning fudge is our favorite.
That's a thing?
That was probably one of the funniest jokes right before things got really crazy during Infinity War. Number 9, expecting that there'll be some balanced, happy, and sad moments during the end of the movie. Like there'll be some sad moments, but they'll also try to end on a happy note. A post-credit scene paying off a big joke from Iron Man and Pepper Potts' wedding between secondary characters, like we're talking Teenage Groot and Spider-Man or Stan Lee. Like they do another Watchers-style multiple scenes with Stan Lee moment where he appears a couple times during the film as different characters. Like, oh, the bus driver winds up at Tony Stark's wedding for some reason. I've already done a couple videos based on some of the deleted scenes from Infinity War about why I think they've foreshadowed Iron Man and Pepper Potts' wedding being the way that they wind up ending all these movies, because it's a really happy moment. The actors have been describing Infinity War and Avengers Endgame as this really grand Shakespeare. Even Josh Brolin, who's been performing Thanos in both of the movies, in most Shakespeare comedies wind up ending in a wedding of some sort. So because they're teasing this big moment at the beginning of Infinity War, it just seems like they're going to end on something like that. Number 8, post-credit scenes with the different teams that push them into their next big movies, whatever those might be. So like a moment with the Guardians of the Galaxy, with a returned Gamora, Peter Quill, the rest of them reunited family going back off into whatever the adventure of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be. They're currently saying that they're still going to use James Gunn's script, so whatever that movie was originally going to be, it's still going to be that. But because Spider-Man Far From Home is happening minutes after the end of Avengers Endgame, you also have to have a moment where you set up what that's going to be. Like this moment here where Peter is helping with disaster relief on behalf of Iron Man and Pepper Potts, doing all this PR work, giving all these donations to people that are working on homeless shelters. It just implies that there's going to be even more wanton destruction in New York City during Avengers Endgame, and this will be part of the cleanup process. Number 7, a scene with the Watchers, again in a direct continuation of the Watchers scenes during Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The things that the Avengers and Thanos have done with the Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet are too big for the Watchers not to be present for most of it to begin with, even if it's just another moment with Stan Lee continuing to report to them, recapping the events of Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Well, first I was a bus driver, and then I was all these different things during this second movie. Number 6, you have to have a scene with Black Panther and the original Avengers that are still alive, where they formally ask him to join the Avengers and henceforth take a leadership role and, funny moment, haha, ask him to help foot the bill for all their expensive toys. Maybe a little bit of winking at loaning them Shuri and a load of vibranium every once in a while, and he just kind of chuckles like, haha, we'll see about that. Whatever you think about the character, because his movie was so big, there's no way that he is not one of the focal points of the Avengers during Phase 4 at some point. But also number 5, a similar moment with Captain Marvel, with them doing the same thing. The surviving original Avengers formally asking her to join the Avengers and take on a leadership role, with the idea of Nick Fury teasing SWORD from the comics, a more space-based defense agency dealing with threats before they actually make it to planet Earth's surface, before getting involved. Like S.H.I.E.L.D. is more of a ground-based organization. For the most part, the last couple of years, Captain Marvel has been focused with extraterrestrial threats in outer space. So she lives in a space station that orbits planet Earth and deals with really big cosmic threats before they make it to planet Earth. Number 4, a scene with Thor either constructing or working at New Asgard in Norway, where they set up during Thor Ragnarok. They may already have a small moment like this during Avengers Endgame because we know that Valkyrie is actually going to have a cameo during the actual movie, not just a post-credit scene. She'll actually be in the movie for a little while. But at the end of Thor Ragnarok and the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, she and Korg escaped the Asgardian ship before Thanos arrived with about 25% of the Asgardians that they had taken from Asgard. So it just stands to reason that if they didn't go to another planet, they probably went to where New Asgard is and started to build it while Thor has been busy with all this Infinity War business. So either he goes back to that location and starts building it during a post-credit scene, or there's a moment like that during the movie where they address that, because a little time has gone by since the snap. Number 3, a multiverse-based scene teasing very different, very cool comic book moments with characters in other realities, like teasing other major threats for future movies a la Dormammu, expecting that the Infinity Stones are probably going to be scattered or destroyed at the end of the movie. So if you haven't read a lot of Marvel's big comic book events that involve the Infinity Stones, typically what happens is when the Avengers or someone else uses them and something really crazy happens, they wind up scattering or they wind up shattering and they become ineffective. So because Kevin Feige is teasing that Phase 4 is going to be so vastly different from the way the first 22 films felt, the Infinity Stones have been the thing since Marvel Phase 1. So it just stands to reason that they're going to quote-unquote retire that, and the way you do that is that you either scatter the gems or you shatter them, so that it won't be useful in Phase 4. Nobody will be able to go find one and start using it again. So really important moment to pay off. That means that the Time Stone is no longer a deterrent to Dormammu. That was the whole thing. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. That was the reason why he agreed to stay away from planet Earth. And if that goes away, then that means the Earth is easy pickings for Dormammu to come back and get his revenge. Getting into more Phase 4 stuff too, you have to have a scene teasing the concept of the Eternals and more Celestials as part of their story, which thus far we've only really dealt with in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. We got a little bit of Celestial stuff, like Peter Quill was part Celestial with crazy powers for a little while. Now he still has Celestial DNA inside him, but he doesn't have the special powers because Ego the Living Planet, status to be determined, seems like he's dead. You also need to have a moment paying reference to some of the consequences of the Avengers messing with reality in the quantum realm. Right now, the quantum realm is sort of a J.J. Abrams mystery box type of story device. Like, they could do anything they want to with it because it's the path to other realities, it's the path to biological powers, like the Wasp has special powers because her DNA has been altered by quantum energy. They could use it as the basis for literally any type of Marvel comic book story that you could think of. But number 1, they also have to have a scene teasing the concept of X-Men heading into what will become Avengers 5. So obviously, big Avengers 5 post-credit scene, because they all do that at the end of the Avengers movies. This is what we're going to be dealing with in the next big one. But here's the thing, because the X-Men Fox Disney deal won't close till the summer, they can't say the word X-Men or mutant or anything like that. What they'll have to do is just tease the idea that there's a proliferation of people with special abilities popping up all over the world, and Nick Fury and some of the other Avengers will just keep an eye on it, quote unquote, until it becomes more serious. Then a couple movies down the road, when we get to our next big Avengers film, quote unquote, it will get more serious, and those people that have popped up will wind up being big X-Men characters. So that's about as close as they can get without saying, yeah, X-Men are definitely coming in our next couple of films, without jumping the gun or literally saying it or showing them on screen. There are a lot of other big concepts that they could also tease in post-credit scenes. You have the idea of the Young Avengers. Kevin Feige said that they're developing a movie with that. Because Kang the Conqueror is one of their big villains, that could be a time travel-based franchise, and we've started to do more time travel in the MCU. But between Celestials, Eternals, big future villains in the quantum realm, you just have to address some of those big moments. So let me know in the comments, what are your picks for what the post-credit scenes are during Avengers Endgame? And I'm talking about mid-credits and post-credits. For those of you asking about that 3-hour runtime rumor, there was a website that was reporting that Avengers Endgame is going to be 3 hours. It is not going to be 3 hours. There is no way that Disney's going to let the Russos release a 3-hour movie. What they'll probably do is they'll just cut it down till it's a little bit longer than Avengers Infinity War. That was 2 hours and 29 minutes. So Avengers Endgame will still probably be the longest Marvel film ever in just like a little over 2.5 hours. But I'm sure that when they release the Blu-ray, there'll be some crazy double box set with Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and they'll release a bunch of extra footage and deleted scenes. So that's where you get your Marvel movie that's longer than 3 hours, but it's because of all the extra bonus features that they'll probably wind up putting on that. There will be a new Avengers Endgame trailer coming with Captain Marvel, so of course I'll do a video for it when it drops. Leave your requests in the comments below. I'll name a giveaway winner when I post new Marvel. Click here to rewatch the Avengers Endgame trailer a billion more times and all my Easter eggs, and click here for the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.